You think horror movies are terrifying? Wait until the hardwood starts to shake, literally. These moments didn't come from Hollywood. They happened in real life, and they shook the NBA to its core.
But Mike Muscala on his left hip, and Biyombo just sort of collapses and falls back.
Let's start with a collapse so sudden, fans thought they were watching a nightmare. It was just another game. Until Bismack Biyombo hit the floor out of nowhere. No contact, no warning, just a loud thud and dead silence. Players froze, fans stood up, trainers sprinted. 1 minute he was running down the court. The next, everyone feared for his life. And when someone that strong drops like that, you can feel it in your chest.
Hey. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow.
Corey Brewer went up for a highlight dunk and came crashing down face first. Not on his side, not on his back, face first. The arena gasped in unison. One commentator said it looked like we just witnessed a funeral. And that's not exaggerating. People genuinely weren't sure if he was okay. In the middle of a summer league game, the ground started trembling. The scoreboard shook. Players looked around, confused, then concerned. Fans began heading for the exits. It was an earthquake in the middle of a game. No one was prepared. And for a moment, the game didn't matter. Getting out did.
On both ends of the floor.
A foul on Arenas. Went into Arenas. He snapped his neck a little bit.
And then there's Marquis Daniels. 1 second, he's fighting through contact. The next, he's on the floor, not moving. He hit face first after a foul, and the worst part? He blacked out right there on the court. The kind of silence that followed. That's not what you hear in a stadium. That's what you hear in hospitals. And we're only just getting started.
And right there, obviously in some kind of real pain and discomfort, they put him out on his back for a bit and continue to work on him right now.
Rodney Stuckey was on the bench when it happened. He didn't take a hit. He didn't fall. He just collapsed. Eyes shut. No response. Panic spread like wildfire. Teammates signaled frantically. The crowd went quiet. It wasn't just a game anymore. It was a matter of life and death. For several tense minutes, fans weren't watching basketball. They were praying.
Being able to provide a sturdy backup to Steven Adams. He has been all of that this year. Went up to block the shot of Wiggins. Met him at the rim. And Noel, who already took a big-time bump from Towns early on.
Then there's Nerlens Noel, known for explosive defense and even bigger blocks. But during what looked like a routine play, he went up and never got up. After the block attempt, he landed hard, his head bouncing off the floor with terrifying force. The impact was brutal. He lay still. Trainers rushed in. A stretcher was brought out. That whiplash effect could have ended everything right there. But occasionally, the horror doesn't come from injury.
He kicked the cameraman. He was really upset. Really upset. Went up in the air, came down on the camera. You thought he sprained his ankle.
It comes from rage. Dennis Rodman was always unpredictable, but no one expected. During a game after a tumble, Rodman snapped. He turned toward a cameraman completely unprovoked and violently kicked him right in the groin. Cameras captured everything. The man dropped. The crowd gasped. And just like that, the moment crossed a line no one saw coming. Rodman got slammed with a massive fine, but the image stuck in everyone's mind. Not just wild, dangerous. It started like any fight, but ended like a crime scene. In 1977, Kermit Washington turned and threw one punch at Rudy Tomjanovich. Just one. But that punch almost killed him. Skull fractured, jaw broken, brain fluid leaked. Doctors said it was like a car crash. Rudy never truly returned to the same level. That moment ended his all-star career and changed the league forever. And if you thought that was the peak of chaos, Wait until you see who vanished in the middle of the season and why nobody could find him.
Bob Rathbun, the play-by-play announcer for the Atlanta Hawks basketball team, slumps in his chair, then starts convulsing while his co-anchor keeps going, unaware of the emergency.
I look for this kid to have a really good first half of the season.
As Rathbun loses consciousness, you can see someone off-camera reach in to help.
During a live Hawks game, the announcer, mid-sentence, suddenly went silent, slumped over. The broadcast cut away in panic. No warning, no explanation. Viewers were left staring at a logo screen, terrified and confused. He lost consciousness on air, and at that moment, it didn't feel like sports anymore. It felt like something way worse. Thankfully, he recovered, but fans watching live won't forget it anytime soon. And then came the snap. Gordon Hayward, in his debut game with the Celtics, went up for a pass and came down with a leg twisted the wrong way. His ankle turned sideways. You could hear it. Broadcasters went silent. Players turned away. Some fans were crying. It was one of the most graphic injuries in NBA history, and it happened on opening night. Talk about a nightmare.
U-turn, I looked down at my phone at the light, and I just heard click, click, click. Somebody knock on my window. So I'm like, look up. Bro got the gun on me. I don't know why, but I rolled the window down. That's just where my mind took me. I rolled the window down. He like, get out the car. And I said, huh? And when I said, huh, he looked at me, he said,
Lou Will? Can't even do it to you, bro.
Lou Williams was once held at gunpoint during a carjacking. That's already terrifying. But then came the twist. As the robber realized who he was robbing, Lou offered him some McDonald's. No joke. The person suddenly changed their mind and let him go. Yeah, that's a real story. It's funny now, but at the moment, that was life or death.
The right foot, I think about pulling up when I walk, but my left foot, I think about pulling inward. So essentially, when I walk, it's like this. So, I mean, to retrain yourself how to walk like that, and then let alone try to run, for it to become secondhand nature, it took a long time.
And there's Jay Williams, a young star with the Chicago Bulls. He had it all until one decision changed everything. He hopped on a motorcycle, speeding at 70 miles per hour, approximately 113 kilometers per hour, and slammed into a pole, violated his contract, shattered his pelvis, nerve damage. He never played again. Just like that, one ride ended an entire career. Now here's one most people didn't even know about, until it was nearly too late.
In 2006, my doctor, Lisa Callahan, found my blood pressure to be pretty high, and they ran tests and did a whole bunch of stuff and seen that my kidneys were failing. And I always was healthy. When I was a kid, I always was healthy growing up. You know, I never was sick, always had good health. And there were times where I got sick and I was just throwing up and I couldn't control what was going on. And they had to put me in the hospital for a couple days. And, you know, I would come out feeling greater than I've ever felt before. So I just, you know, kept dealing with the routine over the years.
Nate Robinson, the high-flying dunk champion, was battling something far scarier than any defender: kidney failure. Post-NBA, his health crumbled, quietly, privately, until he needed a transplant to survive. And it still might not be enough. And for our final twist, a literal disappearing act gone wrong. In 2009, the NBA hosted a halftime magic show. Harmless, right? But when Lady Houdini was lowered into a tank and locked in handcuffs, she didn't resurface. Panic spread. It wasn't an illusion. It was a rescue mission. She almost drowned. Live. In front of thousands. Think that was intense? The next one involves teammates turning on each other, violently. Don't go anywhere. What started as a night out spiraled into a nightmare. Chris Copeland and his fiancée were outside a New York club when a fight broke out, and suddenly, knives were involved. Copeland was stabbed in the abdomen, pero Antich, his teammate, got caught in the chaos too. His fiancée was slashed trying to protect him. The aftermath? Career momentum is gone. Physically and mentally, Copeland was never the same after that night.
The steal by Petrovic. To Petrovic. The double clutch, and he'll drain that one.
Then there's Dražen Petrovic, a European legend who had just begun dominating in the NBA. But in 1993, everything ended on a rainy highway in Germany. Riding in the passenger seat, no seatbelt, his car crashed. Dražen was thrown from the vehicle and died instantly. The basketball world lost a pioneer, one who was later only started. Even stranger was what happened to Bison Dell. In 2002, he vanished while sailing the South Pacific with his girlfriend, Skipper, and brother. Days later, only his brother returned. Authorities pieced together a chilling tale. His brother eventually confessed to killing everyone on board, but died by suicide before a trial. The bodies? Never found. Just the empty ocean, holding all the answers.
Because on a rainy day in June 1993, Dražen was riding shotgun in a car with his girlfriend, cruising through Germany. The roads were slick, and in one terrifying moment, the car slammed into a truck.
Lorenzen Wright's story was even more horrifying. The former NBA center vanished in 2010. Then a 911 call surfaced. Gunshots were heard mid-call. His body was found 10 days later in a field. Execution style. Years later, the bombshell dropped. His ex-wife had plotted it all, hired killers, planned escape routes. It was cold, calculated, and heartbreaking. And then, the tragedy that froze the world. January 26, 2020.
Tim Duncan, who had so many great battles with your Lakers, Brian, in the playoffs, Becky Hammond, Greg Popovich. Just a tough day all around.
Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and 7 others died in a helicopter crash in California. Fog, miscommunication, a devastating impact. No survivors. It wasn't just a sports loss, it was global. Streets filled with mourners, murals across cities. That crash didn't just take lives, it shattered hearts forever. In 1993, Boston Celtics captain Reggie Lewis collapsed during a light practice session and tragically passed away due to cardiac arrest. This occurred just months after he had previously collapsed during a playoff game, highlighting the severity of his undiagnosed heart condition. And that's just a glimpse of how terrifying the NBA can be beyond the scoreboard. From brutal injuries to real-life tragedies, these moments prove the game isn't always just about basketball. Which one shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.